Breaking news out of the NBA where the Brooklyn Nets are trading Mikal Bridges to the New York Knicks. That's per multiple reports. In exchange for Bridges, the Nets are going to receive Bojan Bogdanovic and a plethora of picks. That package includes 4 unprotected first-rounders, another protected first-round pick, an unprotected pick swap, and 2 second-rounders. My goodness. Remember, Bridges has spent the past season and a half in Brooklyn, averaging just over 21.5 points per game. He's the latest addition to the Nova Knicks, who already have 3 Villanova alumni on their roster: Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, and Donte DiVincenzo. If you thought it was going to be bad with those 3, Josh, Donte, and Jalen, just imagine what type of fun they're going to have with Mikal Bridges adding another Villanova Wildcat to the Knicks roster. And we will have a reaction to this news coming up on CBS Sports HQ, as Mikal Bridges is no longer a Net, just in a different borough with the New York Knicks. Breaking news out of the NBA on the day before the NBA draft. The Brooklyn Nets are trading Mikal Bridges to the New York Knicks. That's per multiple reports. In exchange for Bridges, the Nets are going to receive Bojan Bogdanovic and a plethora of picks. So that package, get this, includes 4 unprotected first-rounders, another protected first-round pick, an unprotected pick swap, and 2 second-rounders. Now, Bridges has spent the past season and a half in Brooklyn, averaging just over 21.5 points per game. He's the latest addition to the Nova Knicks, who already have 3 Villanova alumni on the roster: Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, and Donte DiVincenzo. Once again, here are the details in writing. Bojan, then 4 unprotected first-round picks. That is what is really important to me. The fact that they got that haul for a guy who's, look, he's a really good player. I'm a little bit surprised, but hey, if the Knicks wanted to do that, they got all those picks. All right, that's what you want to do. That ain't my picks. Time now to bring in CBS Sports NBA analyst John Gonzalez to react to this news. And John, when you saw this come down, what was your reaction? Because for me, I was stunned at the return that the Nets got for, again, a really good player in Mikal Bridges, but this ain't a superstar we're talking about, man.
He's very good, but the Nets were not kidding, Chris, when they said that they wanted a KD-like haul for Mikal Bridges. They got it, and then some. 5 first-round picks is wild. 4 of them unprotected. Look, the Knicks have had a lot of picks and cap space for a while, a very smartly run organization. We were wondering what they were going to do with it. Here's your answer. I guess if you're the Knicks, you can never have enough Villanova players. Add them to the Nova Knick haul. And when you look at it, yeah, it is a very steep price to pay. But now all of a sudden, if Julius Randle comes back healthy, you're looking at a starting lineup of MVP, top 5 candidate Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, OG Anunoby if they can bring him back and re-sign him, now Mikal Bridges, and then they got to answer their center question, but they're trying to bring back Isaiah Hartenstein. If they can have all 5 of those guys, even if you lose Isaiah Hartenstein, now you really are one of the top contenders in the Eastern Conference to challenge the Boston Celtics. They were already going to be that, but now there's a case to be made, especially if they bring back Hartenstein, that their first 5 is as deep as the Boston Celtics' first 5. And here's something else, Chris. Talk about depth. Now, because of this, 2 of the other Nova Knicks end up going to the bench. Josh Hart goes to the bench. Donte DiVincenzo goes to the bench. Look, we all know that Tibbs hates playing his bench, but depth is valuable, and now all of a sudden the Knicks have more of it.
Exactly, and that's key for, you know, a coach who loves to play his players a lot of minutes, and they love him, so that's on them. But, yeah, there are definitely questions about, you know, how much usage he should give to his players. Now, when you look at the Nets, right, what does this mean for them as they rebuild and try to get back to relevancy after they had that short stint with KD, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving?
Yeah, this is the hard reset, right? I mean, they made a mistake bringing in James Harden, giving a ton of draft capital away to the Houston Rockets. Houston Rockets, by the way, would have loved to give some of that capital back to him for the very same guy who just got traded to the Knicks, Mikal Bridges, but instead the Nets figure out a way to kind of reboot here. So they've replenished their draft coffers. They're going to have more cap space. They're going to try to re-sign Nick Claxton this offseason. I don't expect him to go anywhere, but I would expect a fire sale on other fronts. They got the two Cams still, Chris. Cam Thomas and Cam Johnson. Not a great year for Cam Johnson last year. I still think he's a very useful player, a long, athletic 3-and-D wing. Lord knows that most teams in the NBA could use somebody like that, even though it wasn't a good season for him. And then Cam Thomas really took a step forward last season as a scorer. He can score in bunches from all over the floor. He'd probably be a very attractive piece for other teams looking to add scoring to their team. So I think that the Nets did the right thing here, and they decided, hey, look, we like Mikal Bridges. We gave a lot of lip service to saying we're going to rebuild the whole team around him. You can't pass up on this offer, Chris.
Absolutely not. You would be a fool to pass up on that. 5 first-rounders, 4 of them unprotected. My God, I'm taking that every single night. Now, going back to the Knicks now, when you look at other moves that they need to make in the offseason, what should they prioritize here in your estimation?
Yeah, it's two guys. It's OG and Isaiah Hartenstein. OG Anunoby, they absolutely do not want to let walk for a lot of different reasons. He fits so well with them, Chris. They were 26-5 when he was in the lineup. Now, he's got injury issues, and he's going to want to get a payday despite the fact that in 3 of the last 4 seasons, he failed to play more than 50 games. That's a little bit of a risk for them, but he's still only 26 years old. So I think that they think, hey, hopefully he'll be healthy moving forward. And maybe, as you mentioned, because they go and get Mikal Bridges, because they have more depth now, maybe you don't need to run, if you're Tibbs, hint, OG Anunoby into the ground and play him 40 minutes for 82 games or however much you can squeeze out of him. And then the other thing is Isaiah Hartenstein. He's also going to want to get paid. There's going to be a big market for him. Generally, centers don't get paid that much, but Isaiah Hartenstein is kind of a rare case here. The Knicks are probably going to have to pay him around, they can only pay him around 16 and change per season, but it's been a really good fit for him. So maybe they can appeal to him and say, hey, look, our path in the Eastern Conference is set now if you return. But there is some danger that a team like Oklahoma City could swoop in and offer him, say, 2 for $50 million, which would allow him to play back up to Chet Holmgren and be on a really good young Thunder team. And also, critically, if he went that route, he would be back in the free agent pool at like 28 years old when the salary cap goes up, which would set him up for another big money, mega long-term deal. So going to be tougher to re-sign him than OG.
100%, and it's going to be interesting to see how everything shakes out. John Gonzalez breaking down the latest as Mikal Bridges is going to the Knicks. What a boring day on the eve of the NBA draft. We appreciate you, man.
Absolutely.
So here's how Mikal Bridges' career shakes out, right, with the Suns and the Nets. So he played 365 games with Phoenix, 109 with the Nets. Went from 12 for the Suns to 21. Now, again, there's context because he was playing with KD, Devin Booker, Chris Paul. So, of course, his numbers weren't going to be as high. But shooting a little bit less with the Nets. But the three-point shooting, that's pretty much stayed around the same mark. Just a 1% difference when he played with the Suns compared to when he played with the Nets. But he's no longer playing for either of those franchises. It's all about the New York Knicks right now for him. And coming up, we will have more reaction and analysis to the Brooklyn Nets hitting the jackpot, getting so many first-rounders for Mikal Bridges to reset their franchise.